You're listening to the Wheeler's Dog Podcast. This is episode number 47. Hey, I'm Eugene B. Sims, and this is the Wheeler's Dog Podcast. I do appreciate you listening. And if you didn't know, this is an extension of my award-winning blog, WheelersDog.com. Traffic on the website just wasn't happening anymore. People just aren't reading like they used to. So, hey, that's why I answered the call for a podcast, doing a podcast. Yeah, I figured since everyone has one, I might as well throw my hat into the ring, see what can happen. And I saw Jeff Kay with the West Virginia Surf Report kind of doing the same thing because he noticed traffic was down as well. So, hey, why not? It's a whole lot easier than talking about this stuff than typing it up. You know, I try to be funny on the podcast, and I try to be funny on the blog as well. So, yeah, thanks. I do appreciate you tuning in and taking a listen. And recently, I've gotten in touch with a friend of mine and an old classmate, which I described earlier in other podcasts, that they've been besties for as long as I've known the one friend in common. You know, I graduated in 1985 with Melina, and me and Catrice maybe became friends early 2000s. So they've known each other all that time, but never made the connection that they both knew me. Melina is not on social media, so hey, there you go. That's why the connection was never really made. But, you know, Melina and I went to high school together, Northwest Guilford High School, and so I just thought I'd bring up a story that one of the crazy things that I did back in high school. There were many crazy things that I did in high school. Apparently, Melina knew none of this because I don't think we even had a class together, but we had homeroom together for a long, long period of time. I think junior high as well. I can't remember when Melina came in. I don't remember if she came in 7th grade or if she was later there in junior high, but let me get a sip of water. But one morning, they were taking yearbook photos for the 1985 Northwest Guilford High School yearbook. And we would always meet in the commons area before going to homeroom. You know, as people arrive in their cars, people arrive on the school buses, get dropped off, what have you. We'd all gather. And I'd always meet the same group of buddies. You know, occasionally there'd be people filtering through us, you know, but usually it was a core group of people. And we made some plans. There were 3 of us that actually made the plans. A guy named Jeff Baker, a guy named John Sullivan. So they went to even elementary school together before junior and high school. And we met in like 7th grade. And so Sullivan was also in my homeroom as well. We decided that morning that we were going to leave our mark, our senior mark, not in a destructive way, you know, not like doing something crazy and destructive and violent. We wanted to do it subtly. And I don't even think, Melina, if she's listening, I don't even think she knows about this. But if you get out your 1985 yearbook, you will find me, Sullivan, and Baker in places you do not expect. And what I mean was that club picture day for the yearbook, we made a pact to get in as many club pictures as we possibly could. So, as the morning was going on, you know, they were taking all these pictures in the morning. And I want to say it was a cool winter morning. And whenever they would announce club pictures, you know, so-and-so people in this club, I mean, every time you turn around, we were getting up and going to get a club picture done. And in some cases, they would make the announcement while we're going back to class. And so we just turn right around and go back and get into club pictures. So we made kind of a challenge to see who could get in the most club pictures. I'm going to go ahead and say I won that challenge because I got in 7 club pictures. Bake and Sullivan, I think they were actually in some clubs. I know Baker was. I don't know about John, but and I don't even remember how many they got in. But there was some, I got busted, of course. I went in to the, the Spanish club and just being a smart ass and I'm walking in and the Spanish teacher is kind of like, what are you doing here? You're not in the Spanish club. I was like, oh, pardon moi. I thought this was the French club. Oui. Turned around, walked off. I got kicked out of the Civitans. Gosh, quite a bunch of them. And the wild thing is, I'll go ahead and tell this story. I have a sister. Her name is Pam. She's at odds with the family for various reasons. Her and my sister Tina just aren't getting along these days. And, it's just not a pretty thing. But, it's the way it happens. I washed my hands of the whole situation years ago. And I don't agree with what's going on. But hey, that's their beef. Got nothing to do with me. I kind of stay out of it. I just hang on the sidelines and view the game, so to speak. But anyway, Pam was in the library club. Baker didn't make it to that one. But me and John got into the library club picture. And it was a small club. And of course, my sister Pam, being the stick in the mud that she is, she's like, y'all gonna get me in trouble? Y'all gonna get me in trouble? I'm gonna get kicked out of library club because I let you in. I was like, no. You didn't let us in here. We came in on our own. We know exactly what we're doing. This is just a senior prank that we're pulling off. Just chill and relax. I don't know you. Okay? We just happen to have the same last name. All right? We're good. So, of course, she was in a panic the whole time. And then as we're getting lined up on the steps there in the auditorium, Mrs. Clem, the head librarian, was really looking at me and John pretty hard. I mean, very hard. She knew something was up. And then somebody in the library club, I don't remember who it was, but they said, hey, Mrs. Clem, why don't you get in the picture? John Sullivan, without even a thought, just like, yeah, come on, Mrs. Clem, get in. And I'm not sure if this actually happened or not, but I am under the impression that he got down from where he was at to help her up to get out of the chair and into the picture. I think that happened. I'm not sure. But the rest of us just followed in line like, yeah, come on, get in here. And so she got in the picture. They snapped it and whew, me and Sullivan were out the side doors, like a fire had just happened. We were like George Costanza getting the hell out of there. But we happened to make it in that picture. See? There you go. And one of the big things that we really wanted to get into was the bus driver club photo. And what they would do with the bus driver club, they would pull out a bus. And people would be on the hood of it, on the fender wells, standing on top of it, laying on top of it, hanging out the windows. All the bus drivers, because then, yes, they were students driving the buses. That was their part-time job in the morning and the afternoon. And they took the buses, most of them, took the buses home with them if they had a place to park it. Yeah, it was a wild and crazy time. And I knew a lot of those student bus drivers, they were very serious. Yeah, there was not a whole lot of shenanigans going on. Let me tell you, I rode the bus. I enjoyed riding the bus all the way through my senior year. I mean, occasionally I'd like hop a ride with this guy, neighbor across the street, Mike. But, I enjoyed riding the bus. I got to express my shenanigans, to play little jokes and everything, and just be a pain in the ass on the bus. That was kind of my deal. I enjoyed it. But a lot of student drivers, they didn't care for my shenanigans, and they let me know. Gosh, let me tell you, they let me know. Because they took it very seriously. But anyway, we're standing in front of the bus that they're going to pull out. And then here comes this dude. I don't even remember his name, but he was like the head of the bus driver club. He's like, hey, what are you guys doing here? There's three of us. They're like, we're bus drivers. Like, no, you're not. You're not bus drivers. Where we're going to be next year, get out of here. So we didn't get to make the bus driver club pictures. It was the holy grail of bus driver or club pictures to get into. So then, we got in all these pictures. The yearbooks came out in the spring. Well, as the teachers and everybody got them ahead of the students, they got to look in the pictures. And they got to inspect the club pictures. And they started noticing people that weren't in these clubs. That was one of them. And of course, we each got called up to the vice principal's office, Mr. Bailey. I spoke about him before with Mrs. Townsend, the pregnant lady, on a podcast before. So Bailey moved up from the junior high to the senior high with the rest of us. Yeah, tough man, former Marine. And from what I understand, a friend of mine got sick and threw up on him once. So knowing that guy, he probably didn't even flinch. He probably had a change of outfit in his office already. That's probably the kind of guy he was, always prepared. But anyway, we got called to the office one by one. And I believe I was first on that list. And Mr. Bailey sat me down and he's like, it's come to our attention that you appeared in a lot of club pictures, clubs that you weren't even in. I'm like, yeah. He's like, they're kind of upset, these teachers, because you've snuck into these pictures. I was like, look, this is just my senior mark. I'm leaving a mark as a senior in the yearbook, and chances are nobody's ever going to know about it. It's just my own personal trophy. That's all it is. Nobody got hurt. There was no property destroyed. Nothing. It's all good. I don't understand the problem. He says, well, they want their club dues since you were in the picture. I was like, hey, I never took part in anything. I'm not paying any club dues. And this was like $56 in 1985. I think roughly now, if you convert $56 to money in our terms, I think that's like $1,500. I wasn't going to pay no $56. No. That's like 10 albums at Record Bar. I ain't doing that. So I told him flat out, I said, look, I'm not going to do it. If you feel like you need to punish me, detention, whatever, hey, cool. Do it. Do what you got to do. Make these people happy. I didn't really say it like that, but I more or less did. Hey, if you got to put me in detention, it's cool. I can dig it. I did the crime. I'll do the time. He said, you realize I'm going to have to call your father about this. And of course, he knew my father. They were like on a first name basis because my dad was a deputy sheriff and he used to work all the ball games, as a law enforcement presence. And he enjoyed it and he liked the students. He's a guy like that. He likes people. I don't quite understand it. But anyway, Mr. Bailey called up my father. Well, first of all, I told my father about it. I said, look, here's the deal. Mr. Beatty's going to call you at some point, and this is the deal. I just did it as a challenge with me and Sullivan and Bake. It was just, we were going to try to get in club pictures we could. I mean, it's not like we, kidnapped another school's mascot. It's not like we vandalized the school. It's not like anything. We just got into club pictures, and we just wanted to leave our mark in some way in the yearbook, and nobody got hurt. Ultimately, no one got hurt, and then chances are no one's ever really going to notice. So, if you've got the 1985 Northwest Guilford yearbook with the chocolate silver Hershey's Kiss in the bottom right corner, go ahead, check out the club pictures. Sometimes my name is in there. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's spelled correctly. And then sometimes they gave me an extra M in my last name. And it's just kind of bizarre. In some pictures, I'm wearing my glasses. Some pictures, I'm not wearing my glasses. But I am wearing my Ted Nugent Weekend Warriors tour shirt. Yeah, so I got my Ted Nugent tour shirt in there. But if you have the yearbook, by all means, check it out and see what I'm talking about. And I got into 7 club pictures. I won the challenge. I think Bake got into the next highest amount. I think he got into 5 or 6, and I don't think Sullivan got into about like 4. And, maybe they had other things going on. I don't really recall what the deal was, why we didn't get into all of it. And, occasionally we overlap. You'll look for us in the same pictures, the 3 of us, and we might be in different places in the photo and stuff like that. We try not to congregate or bring too much attention to ourselves.
If you like irrational conversations with the cool breezes of Anytown, USA, listen to the Schlub Resonance in Apartment 5B, Bicker and Moan on the Apartment 5B podcast. Available everywhere you find podcasts and at tldpodnetwork.com.
You want extra episodes of the Wheeler's Dog podcast? Of course you do. No one in their right mind would pass up an opportunity to get a bonus episode every week. Not every once in a while, but one every week. Just go to patreon.com/WheelersDog and get into the dog share for just $4. $4 every month unlocks all the audio. You can even listen with the Patreon app for tablets and smartphones. Patreon.com/WheelersDog to contribute. It's the best gift that you could ever give yourself, really. Maybe.
The Wheeler's Dog Speak Line, 336-422-6006. Give it a call, send a text message, whatever you want to do. Be a part of the Wheeler's Dog podcast by calling the Wheeler's Dog Speak Line. And we've got a call right now from Cheryl.
Hello, Wheeler's Dog Hotline. It's Cheryl. So I just had to chime in. I'm not a regular. I don't listen every week like I'm supposed to as a Wheeler's Dog fan. So I had to binge episode 43, 44, and 45. I have never laughed so much at a podcast in my life. I just want to chime in on the phone issue about women losing their phones. I lost my phone twice over the weekend. Yes, twice. And so far, it's Thursday of this week. I've gone out of the house on an adventure, excursion, errand, whatever, and left my phone at home twice this week. I thought I put it in my purse, but I didn't. And yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's a girl thing, but thankfully my husband Chris always helps me out and calls my phone, and we managed to find it. But on the pocket deal with women and not putting phones in their pockets, I do utilize my pockets when I have them. However, I'm in a work from home environment, which allows me to wear, we'll call them leisure pants. And leisure pants don't always have pockets. In fact, most of mine don't have pockets. So I'm doing things after work or during work or whatever, and I try to bring my phone with me. And I'm all over the place. I'm in the bedroom, I'm in the kitchen, I'm in the bathroom, I'm downstairs and whatever. I'm doing all sorts of things. Inevitably, I leave my phone somewhere if I don't have pockets in my leisure pants. So I think that's because women like to multitask, whereas men don't. So we'll just call it that. But fortunately, I've never lost one to the extent that it can't be found. And kudos to my husband. He's always there to help me. That gives you guys a purpose in life, I think. Help the wife find their phone. Maybe we need to put them around tethers around our neck, like a life alert bracelet or something. You know, they have the necklaces. Just a thought. Thank you for the laughs today, Eugene. It's been great. Thanks. Bye.
Hey, and thank you, Cheryl. I really appreciate you calling in, and I really appreciate the kind words. How funny you find the podcast. Thank you so much. Because again, I don't ever know. I've got no one to bounce off of to see if things are funny. You know, when I was part of the Less Desirables podcast, I had at least 2-3 people that I could gauge whether something was funny or not, whether I was firing on all cylinders. So it's nice to know that somebody's getting some laughs out of this. I'm just trying to distract us all from the crap we hear all the time on social media, on the TV, whether it's about the COVA, as the mill would say, COVID-19, or if it's political. I mean, just please. I need a break from it. Don't we all? That's all I'm trying to do. You hear those people going by on their motorcycles? They're getting a break from it. Yeah. Again, Cheryl, I do appreciate it. And thanks for clarifying some of the pocket thing. Again, I think it's generational because I've started taking notice of the younger girls. I was in the Sheets not too long ago, and yes, there was like maybe a couple of 30-something-year-old girls. Well, I shouldn't say girls. Women, ladies. They had their phones in their back pockets. So, the younger generation seems to be keeping track of it better. As for the lounge pants around the house, hey, I get that. I used to walk around like that dude on Entourage. Oh, gosh, what was the guy's name, the agent? I can't remember. Jeremy Piven played him. But I was constantly walking around with mine in my phone, my phone in my hand, constantly. And right now, it's here in my pocket. I always carry it with me. And even when I don't have pockets, it's in my hand, like the agent on Entourage. Again, Cheryl, appreciate the call there on the Wheels Dog Speak line, 336-422-6006. And you can leave a message, be a part of the show. You can even send a text message. Next up, we've got a call from Damien.
Hey, Eugene. Damien here. Just getting caught up on some of your patron-only podcasts, and I just recently listened to number 40 where you were talking about the Redskins football team name change. You may remember years ago when you were co-host on Less Desirables when this topic was brought up before that I had sent in a message and said that I had gone to a school in Colorado that had a Native American mascot. The town was Eaton, Colorado, and they were the Eaton Reds. And the mascot was a Native American. And so I remember, not thinking much of it at the time, and even looking at the mascot now, it's not the worst mascot out there. I mean, the Cleveland Indians was way worse. But, as years gone by and the more I see these things happen, if these things change, honestly, if it's just a name change, like I don't have any connection to the Redskins, and honestly, I don't care much about, my high school team mascot. But here's the thing. It may not offend you or some other people, or even, I didn't think much of it at the time. But here's the thing. I don't think it's really our opinion that matters in this situation because we're not the subject of the mascot. So honestly, if changing it, makes, the people that are offended feel better, then maybe just out of nothing more than human decency, it should be changed. Because honestly, it'll be the same team, same colors, just a name change. So that's just my opinion. And, if you choose to stop watching because of the name change, that's totally your decision. But if that's all it takes, you probably had one foot out the door already. But anyway, you just got me thinking about that, listening to that podcast. So just wanted to share my thoughts while I had it fresh in my mind. So anyway, keep up the good work. Enjoy the podcast. Talk to you later. Take care.
Hey, thanks, Damien, and please say hello to your wife for me. I know you guys are out there in Kansas, so you're not I don't see you as often as I'd like. Well, hell, even when you lived in Raleigh, I didn't see you as often as I'd like. I do appreciate you bringing up the fact that what I'd said on the Less Desirables, I don't really recall what I said. I've always kind of agreed with the thing that the free market will always decide what things are. Again, I never saw it as offensive. I've never seen the Redskins organization ever use it in an offensive manner or offensive manner. They, as a matter of fact, it's actually with the tribe. I forget where they're from, Montana. It's actually a chief that they used for the profile of the emblem on the helmet. And I did see an article where the family is just kind of a little upset about it, but, I suppose they're entitled to their feelings as well. And me, whether I deem it offensive or not, like you said, it does not matter. That's for the free market to decide. And like I said, I've always been, with that belief that they will eventually decide. And they have, sponsor dollars started kicking in. People said, we're not carrying the merch. And those dollars started speaking loud to Daniel Snyder. And then, hey, let's look at it this way. There's new merch to be sold. But you bring up the point about me having one foot out the door. I'll be honest with you. And I think I covered it as well. It's not that I'm 1 foot out of the door because of the name change. It's just, first of all, I can't get a whole lot of Redskins games in this market that I'm at. It's all Carolina Panthers now. There used to be a time where affiliates could choose what they would choose, but not anymore. The NFL chooses because they've got a Sunday ticket plan to sell, and the only time that they show games of any, national, if it's national or if it has something to do with Carolina Panthers, how it could affect the Panthers, that's the games that usually get shown in this area. So I'm not paying for NFL ticket just to watch my one team play maybe, how many games is in a season? 16 games, 17 weeks. So chances are I'd be paying full price for maybe 8 weeks that I'd have to, 8 games that I get to see. I'd get to see all of them, but with the ticket, just 8 more. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? And so since my team isn't really in the market, and then plus I don't want to go to like a sports bar or something like that because I'll drink my savings. So I just don't watch football. I don't watch any other team until maybe I didn't even watch any playoff games. I did watch, I watched the AFC and NFC championship games. And the past 2 years, those have been actually better than the Super Bowl. Well, actually, this year's Super Bowl with Kansas City, that was a pretty interesting Super Bowl. But usually those championship games are worth watching. And I just, again, Snyder, the owner of the Washington Redskins, has really kind of killed my love of football. So he irritates me on a visceral level. But he sees the writing on the wall. The free market is speaking. So you got to change the name. And then everybody's like, I can't believe they just come up with a Washington football team. For the 2021 season, if there happens to be a season. People just aren't thinking about things. They just want to wow, this is highly creative, and they're being sarcastic. Well, here's the deal. You've got to get the legalities in place before you start doing anything. Somebody might own, you got to research these things. Somebody might own a copyright or a trademark or something like that. And then, let's also think, I think it was John Louder from the Beard Ads that was posting on Facebook like, hey man, you'd think that Snyder would have a backup plan in place. Well, here's the deal. Whenever you register a trademark or a copyright, that is public knowledge. And so if you tip your hand to the public that you've got a name in place, then that just throws more fuel onto the name-changing people out there in society. It's like, well, you've already got a backup plan. Why don't you just go ahead and use it? You see that the writing's on the wall. So Snyder didn't want to give them any fuel. He didn't want to fire them up by registering something else. So that's cool. And then there's some other dude that's like cyber squatted on trademarks and copyrights for 4 other names that they could possibly go with. And who knows? Maybe they've got to negotiate with that guy. And they've got less than 60 days to get it done. Whip up whole new outfits. And I'm talking about uniforms, helmets, designs. And then on top of it, you got to get the merch out there. Granted, it's the same colors. I got no problem with what Washington's doing right now. Whether it's changing the name. Free market has spoken. No problem. And I'm not sure whether I'm going to give up football altogether. I'm sure as hell not going to change, my allegiance to another team. I'm just not like that. You know what I mean? I'm just not going to sit there and go, this is the team I followed. Okay, they're going to change the name. Either I follow them or I don't. And the biggest thing is, that's the only team I watch. So I'm still kind of torn, and then maybe when they decide on what they're going to do with the name, maybe I'll post it and let the listeners decide in a Facebook poll whether I should keep following or not. I am 90-10 right now. 90-10%. 90 for following the team because the legacy of the team is still there regardless of whatever the name is. Hey, I get that. And then 10% is like, this would free up at least 8 of my Sundays to do whatever I wanted, whether it was watching series on Netflix, Amazon Prime, watching movies, hanging out with the wife, going to breweries, checking those things out. Hey, maybe even go see a movie when they start running, if they ever start running. But, that's kind of what I'm torn on. Am I actually going to get back onto the football bandwagon? I'm not sure. Again, I'm 90% leaning towards keeping with the team and the legacy that they've built. And then I'm like 10% just like, screw it. I don't even watch anything but this team. I'm looking for free time. So that's why it's nothing about like, if they change the name, I'll just stop following. No, I'm not like that. My dad is kind of like that. He's a little upset about it. My mother, they're upset about it. I don't know about my sister Tina, but hey, and my personal belief is if you change cities, change the name. Like the Las Vegas Raiders, the Los Angeles Raiders, the Oakland Raiders, whatever Raiders that they're going to be. I realize that there's a lot of money at hand, with changing the things, but just change the team name if you go into a different city. Start a whole new thing instead of building on the same legacy. Just kind of branch the family tree. It's just my thing, my thoughts. Again, leave your thoughts, comments, anything you want to call me out on. Wheeler's Dog Speak Line, 336-422-6006. And if you're shy about putting your voice on there, you can even send a text message. Again, thanks to associate producer Tim Beeman for helping me get this out there. And I guess for Patreons only, I'll be seeing you on Thursday. Ta-ta!
It's the best gift that you could ever give yourself, really. Maybe.